4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Recording.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello and welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today, and we have a lot of great things to talk about in our lesson. Well, here's a question to begin with. How are you making a difference in the world? This is a question most people think about, and it's a good question to ask yourself not just once, but every once in a while. There are so many ways to make a difference and so many places where you can do so. The title of our lesson is Make a Difference in Your Community. Yes, you don't need to travel far to make a difference, and everyone both can and does make a difference. The question is it a positive difference? One way our lesson suggests to make a difference is to clean up the community. We'll talk about that. And will you learn any new and useful English words and phrases today? You bet. You bet. What does that mean? You'll find out. Come on.
Make a difference in your community. You can make your neighborhood a better place to live. Can just one person make a difference? You bet. In a community, every person counts, and getting involved is not difficult. Take stock of your own talents and interests. Then find a need or an issue you really care about. Don't wait for someone else to act first. Take the initiative. Once you see what you can accomplish, you'll want to keep going. Here are just a few ways to make a difference in your community. How many more ways can you come up with?
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章的第一个重点，我们看 take stock of something 这个片语动词。stock 本来有存货的意思，所以 take stock of something 本来有盘点的意思，但是在这里是指做出评估或判断。例如 Chad took some time to take stock of his finances before he made the decision to buy the house. Chad 在做要买房子的决定之前，花了些时间好好的检视了自己的财务状况。或者是 before making the attack, the general had a meeting with his staff to take stock of the situation. 发动攻击前，这位将军和幕僚开会检视了整个状况。接下来我们看 initiative 这个名词 ，in 这个字首是指进入 ，it 这个字根有走的意思，所以 initiative 在这里是指主动权或主动性。例如 The boy shows great initiative at such a young age, he's bound to succeed in the future. 这个男孩年纪轻轻就这么主动积极，将来一定会成功。课文中的 take the initiative 是指采取主动。例如 After the interview, Brenda took the initiative and called the interviewer to see if she was hired. 面试之后 Brenda 采取主动，打电话给面试官了解自己是否被聘用。
Thank you very much, Michelle. Friends, I hope that you are beginning to think about how you can make a difference in your community, because every one of us can and should make a difference.
That is a really good point, Gabe. We all want to be a good, positive part of our communities, but, maybe you're having trouble thinking of some ideas. So, we have some ideas for you in our lesson today, and we read right here, make a difference in your community. You can make your neighborhood a better place to live.
That's right. So, in our lesson, the word community and neighborhood is used in kind of a similar way. They kind of mean the same thing, okay? You live in a neighborhood, and that is the community where you live. And you can make this a better place to live. And we see a question here, can just one person make a difference? You bet. Can you say that, Carolyn?
You bet.
You bet. Friends, we want to talk about that phrase. Or should I ask the question? Should we talk about this phrase?
You bet.
You bet. Okay, it's kind of a fun phrase to know. It means of course, or it's used in the same way that people say of course.
Oh, hey, Gabe, do you want to get coffee after the show?
After the show, you bet, Carolyn. Actually, on second thought, I won't be able to sleep tonight if I have coffee. Maybe that's not a good idea. How about, would you like to get pizza instead?
You bet.
All right, there we go. So friends, think of some other way, a situation where you can use this phrase in response, okay? You bet. Carolyn, would you like to continue our lesson for us?
You bet.
Hey, thanks.
We read right here, in a community, every person counts, and getting involved is not difficult. And I think that this is a really good thing for us to remember, that every person counts. Everyone matters.
Everybody goes 1, 2, 3, 4,
not
5.
Not that kind of count.
I'm counting,
Gabe,
Carolyn.
no.
I count too.
You do count, but that is not what we mean when we see this word here. Here, count does not mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means that the person matters.
That's right. So every individual person or every individual thing involved is important and makes a difference. So everybody counts.
That's right. For example, you could use this to talk about objects, not just people. Perhaps you are taking donations to send to another country. You might be collecting shoes. And every pair of shoes counts because that pair of shoes will help someone in need.
Are you thinking of the organization Step 30 that we wrote about a few months ago?
I was. That is exactly the organization I was thinking of.
That's a great example. Every pair of shoes counts. This also reminds me of the game Tug of War. It's when there's two teams and one thick rope, and you have to try to pull the rope to one side as much as you can to win a point. I'm telling you, every person counts when it comes to tug of war. Even if you lose one person from your team, that could make a big difference.
That's right, because everyone's combined strength is what wins that game. So every person counts in a community as well. We can all make a difference, whether it's big or small. And getting involved is not difficult. Our sentence here says, take stock of your own talents and interests.
That's right. So take stock. That means, of course, you're going to keep track of or try to record your own interests. And think about that in a way that can also translate into how you can help your community. So then find a need or an issue you really care about. So think about the things you are skillful in. Think about what you're passionate about. And then, what's next?
And then find a need and work toward fulfilling that need. Don't wait for someone else to act first. You don't need to wait for someone else to do something to get started. You can start something.
That's right. And we see a word here that can help us remember that. Okay, the word is initiative. And the phrase is take the initiative. That means be the first one to do something. If you notice that there are some dishes in the house that need to be done, nobody else is doing it. Of course, nobody wants to do dishes, but friends, really, you could take the initiative. You could do the job.
Right. And we read here that once you see what you can accomplish, you'll want to keep going, because you'll find out that actually helping people feels really good.
That's right. So it'll help you keep going. Once you get started, you'll want to keep doing more things like it. So don't wait for somebody to come and ask you, hey, would you like to be involved in this, or would you like to do this? No, start doing it yourself, and you'll find that you want to keep doing it.
Right, and in our lesson we're going to find some ways to do that. Here are just a few ways to make a difference in your community. How many more ways can you come up with?
Well, that's a great question, and we're going to think about these ways in the next section for today's lesson. However, let's take a look at that last phrase there in this sentence, the last three words, to come up with. To come up with something means to think of something, especially using your creativity to think of something.
So if you're struggling to figure out what you're going to write a report on or what kind of project you're going to do, you might say, we need to come up with some better ideas. These aren't going to work.
Well, the next section is called Clean Up the Community. I say a good mantra is keep it clean. And speaking of mantras, what is a mantra? Let's learn about that in the
Info Cloud.
Welcome to InfoCloud, friends. Joe, do you know anyone who has a mantra?
That's an interesting question, Rex. Yes, I do. One of my friends gives a lot of presentations, and his mantra for speeches and presentations is, don't be boring.
That's an interesting mantra, but it's also good advice. When we use the word mantra, we are referring to a phrase that is often repeated and is usually motivational or trying to get a point across.
Well, my friend is always giving advice to people, and don't be boring is definitely his mantra.
I can think of another mantra that many people may know. Reduce, reuse, recycle. This is the mantra of people who want to help the environment.
Reduce, reuse, recycle is also known as the 3 R's. Since these 3 words are easy for people to remember, they became a very popular mantra to remind people to be responsible with how much waste they produce.
Mantra 这个字原本是指印度教或佛教徒一直在重复念诵的经文。不过 mantra 也有另外一个意思，那就是口号，而且通常是激励人心的精神口号。She always says, "Love changes everything." 她常常说，爱能改变一切。That's her mantra. 那是她的口号。通常 mantra 是经常被人挂在嘴边的口号，一直被人重复，为的就是要推广一种观念或价值观。Reduce, reuse, recycle. 减少、重复使用、回收再利用，就是一种环保人士常用的 mantra。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. We're learning about how you can make a difference in your community. Can just one person make a difference? You bet. Every person in a community counts. So friends, take the initiative. What do you think you could do to help out? Well, there are many ways. Let's find out about one way right now. It's about cleaning up the community.
Make a difference in your community. Clean up the community. People often throw litter in places where there is already litter, and the problem only becomes worse until someone gets fed up and does something. Could your neighborhood use a cleanup? Neighborhood cleanups are often sponsored by local businesses or schools. But if your community doesn't have a cleanup program, get together with friends to organize one. You could pick up trash in a larger area twice a year, or you could clean a smaller area every few months. Living in a spruced up neighborhood will be its own reward.
OK， 继续我们看 fed up 这个形容词 ，fed 是 feed F-E-E-D 喂养或提供食物这个动词的过去分词，所以 fed 本来是指被喂饱的，加在一起 fed up 是指受够了或者是感到厌烦的。如果要说明对什么感到厌烦的话，是用 with 这个介系词。例如 ，people are fed up with politicians who always give empty promises. They want someone who sticks to his or her word. 人们对于那些一天到晚开空头支票的政客已经受够了，他们要说到做到的人。或者是 Michael got fed up with his stressful job and decided to quit. Michael 对于他高压的工作感到厌烦，决定辞职不干了。最后我们看 spruce 这个动词 ，spruce 是指使整洁干净，或者是收拾整齐。注意它是一个不及物动词，所以后面要加上 up 这个介系词，再加受词。例如 After the final exam, Kathy finally got some time to spruce up her home. 期末考之后 ，Kathy 终于有时间好好的把家里收拾干净。或者是 Raymond spruced himself up for the date tonight。Raymond 为了今天晚上的约会，把自己好好的打理了一番。或者是 The house looked so clean and spruced up after the maid had finished。你用来整理之后，这个房子看起来很干净整齐。And now let's get back to our teachers.
All right, well, there are many ways that you can help out in your neighborhood and in your community. This sentence or this section is called clean up the community, okay? This reminds me of the phrase community service, okay? That is people coming together to do something good to help out their community.
And one way they could help out is to clean up their community. And we read here that people often throw litter in places where there is already litter. And I do see that happen where maybe there will be one piece of trash or a few pieces of trash in an area, and then a few days later, there will be a lot of trash.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate and really sad. And I have to admit, I have done that before myself, especially with those, I think I've shared before, someone has their bike parked near a place and they have a bike basket in front.
Gay.
Yeah, I know. And I see some trash already in that person's bike basket and I think, there's no trash can around. I'll just put it in here. I don't do that anymore and I don't encourage anybody to do that. That was a bad habit.
Yes, that is not a good way to clean up your community. In fact, if you wanted to clean up your community and be a good neighbor, you could take a trash bag and clean out that basket so that people won't see litter already in it and add to it.
Exactly. So this is a great reason why I like this sentence in our lesson, okay? Because it's a psychological principle, okay? People often throw litter in places where there is already litter. So Carolyn, great point. If you see even one piece of trash, friends, do what you can. Pick it up and throw it away.
Yes, put it where it belongs, in a trash can, not on the ground or someone's bike basket. Now, here we read that the problem only becomes worse with litter until someone gets fed up and does something.
That's right. They get fed up. That means they get really upset about it. And then they do something about it. But sometimes I feel like there's a problem, and that is another psychological problem, and that is that when there's a lot of other people around, you just might think, somebody else will do it. Do you ever think that, Carolyn?
Yes, that does happen. It is easy to think that, oh, well, I am not responsible for it. I don't need to do that. Someone else will do it.
And you know what? I've noticed that if there's a busy street, there's a lot of traffic, and someone gets into an accident, unfortunately, people don't rush over to help the person who is in an accident. And I'm sure one reason is because they think, oh, somebody else will do it. Somebody else is closer, somebody else will do it. That might be one of the reasons.
It could be one of the reasons. So, do you see lots of trash in your neighborhood? Do you think that someone else should clean it up? Well, could your neighborhood use a cleanup? Maybe you can organize one. We read here that neighborhood cleanups are often sponsored by local businesses or schools.
Okay, let's take a look at that word from the word bank, sponsor. Okay, they're sponsored by something. If you sponsor a group of people or an organization, that means you support with your finances, usually. And sometimes this is done in return for advertising time or space. So if you sponsor a company, then they'll find a way to advertise your company.
Right. Many businesses will sponsor charity events, so that way they get good publicity, or people will say good things about that company because they supported a charity.
That's right. So neighborhood cleanups are often sponsored by places like local businesses or schools, but if your community doesn't have a cleanup program, get together with friends to organize one. Again, it's the idea of taking the initiative.
Right. You could pick up trash in a larger area twice a year, or you could clean a smaller area every few months. it doesn't have to be every day or every week.
Right, that would be kind of overwhelming and, people wouldn't stay excited about doing something like that. But there are creative ways to do this, friends. Let's continue. Living in a spruced up neighborhood will be its own reward. Okay, let's take a look at that last phrase, its own reward. You use this when the result of doing something is enough. You're not getting paid, you don't have a prize. No, the result is enough.
That's right. So being nice to other people is its own reward because being nice feels good.
That's right. Don't just be nice to people just so you can expect others to be nice to you. No, it's its own reward. Well, right now it's time for a little challenge. It's time for the SC Challenge. Friends, here to make a difference in the studio today, let's find out who these two handsome gentlemen are.
My name is Dave. I'm very happy to be here again.
All right, and I'm David. I'm going to win this time.
All right, we will see. Friends, try your best to get these answers quickly. Number one, who is important in a community? A, the elders. B, the kids. C, every person. Or D, the garbage collectors. David.
I'm going to say it's C. Everyone.
C, everyone or every person. Yes, that is correct. Every person is important in a community.
Wonderful.
Including the garbage collectors, of course, and the elders and the kids. Okay, here's number two. Fill in the blank. People often throw litter in places where something, blank. People often throw litter in places where A, nobody lives, B, there is no litter, C, there is already litter, or D, it's dark. That was David again.
Yes.
Nicely done.
I would say they throw it where no one lives.
Where no one lives, okay. According to the lesson, it's a different answer.
Oh, I'm going to say
yes.
They throw litter where there's already litter.
Where there's already litter, that is correct. C, people do throw litter where they see a lot of litter already. It's true. Okay, so it's game point right now. Number three, according to the lesson, what can be its own reward? A, watching kids grow up. B, eating out every day. C, cleaning up your room. Or D, living in a nice neighborhood. Yes. According to the lesson, David?
All right, according to the lesson, I would say it's D.
D,
living
in a nice neighborhood can be its own reward. Yes, the lesson uses the words spruced up. A spruced up neighborhood
Spruced up.
is very nice. Do you guys live in a spruced up place?
Maybe.
You gotta work on that.
Something like that. Something like that.
Well, hey, thank you for sprucing up today's SC Challenge, you guys.
Our pleasure.
David is today's winner. And that is all the time we have for today's SC Challenge.
See you later.
Well, I like a lot of words and phrases that we talked about today. I think they're very useful. Every person counts. In your family, every person counts. Everybody makes a difference. Also, something can be its own reward. What do you think can be its own reward? You're not expecting to get paid or to have a prize. You just enjoy doing it. And what can you come up with to help your community or your neighborhood? We have other ways we'd like to talk about next time right here at Studio Classroom. See you then.
A friend gives at all times. A friend cares at all times. A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.